Hey y'all, I'm back here with another book review. I just finished reading Ash of Roses. This was a purely amazing book. I totally was surprised. It's about hardship and this girl, she comes from from Ireland to Ellis Island, and then her father and little brother had to go back to Ireland because there was something wrong with his eyes, and then as it progresses, her mom takes her youngest sister, back to Ireland too because she hates America, and so this is totally a spoilers one because I just can't stop thinking about this story. So Rose and her sister Maureen, they both stay in America, and Rose starts working in the Triangle waistcoat factory. Now, if you do not know your history, and on April 25th, 1911, the factory caught on fire, killing over 149 people because of the working conditions there, and that was what sparked the unions and fighting for having equal rights when equal pay and having a safe working environment. And so this tells of an actual experience. The author researched everything out and told what it would have been like to be actually there, actually going through the fire, actually seeing people jump off the buildings trying to escape the fire, seeing people catching on fire yourself. It was so graphic, and I mean, it was pretty traumatic, what they went through at the Triangle waistcoat factory fire. And honestly, I probably would read this again. I would recommend this book to see the story behind the Triangle Square factory, and see I mean, not Square Factory, Triangle Waistcoat Factory, and seeing how back in the early turn of the century, 1900s, what the working conditions were, why unions were started, and why they fought so hard for rights, because they were all sweatshops and they had the worst working conditions. These women had no space. So many people died when it was unnecessary because they were locked in the factory to keep them from going on their breaks or leaving early or just whatever. They weren't allowed to have more than just one break a day. It was very sad. Very sad that they worked until 8 o'clock at night and weren't allowed breaks, weren't allowed to breathe, basically. And so fighting for the better working conditions for both men and women was really important. And I mean, women couldn't, at the turn of the century, they had to provide for themselves. I mean, if they came over here with nothing. And so both men and women had to work, and so it's just it was really inspiring. And one of the most inspiring things was actually at the end, when the author first turned this in. This is back in 2000. I mean, this was published in 2002, so I mean, this is a pretty old book. But she said when she turned it in, the last remaining survivor of the Triangle waistcoat factory fires died, and she said this. And her name was Rose. Kind of funny, because there's so many roses in this book. To me, 106 is a number. I lived that long, not only on the count of my genes, but on the count of my attitude. You gotta stand up for yourself, am I right? So, because these women decided to stand up for themselves, I mean, Rose specifically, after the waistcoat factory fire, she stood up for herself. She joined the union and fought for rights of equal rights for the workers, and so that the employers wouldn't take advantage of them. And it's funny because, I mean, here in America we don't have that problem anymore because of this, but a couple years back there was a fire in Iran, somewhere in the Middle East, and the same exact, almost the identical thing that happened at the waistcoat factory happened at this place. And the fact that they were locked in, the fact that there was too many workers in a small environment, they had nowhere to go, people were jumping off the building, all of this stuff happened again. And it's just kind of sad to see it still goes on. It's it's not over. I mean, yes, I think that unions now are kind of not okay because, I mean, my dad was a part of a union and they basically tried to steal all of his stuff because they said it was theirs, even though my dad bought it without, like, union money and stuff like that. So, I mean, here in America, unions need to die down a little, but in other places in the world, I think unions need to come back and, like, really start to show stuff and show, like, that people are important and stuff like that. So, I would totally recommend reading this book, especially because it is completely historical accurate. I mean, she gives accounts of where she got her materials, which is fabulous. And so I hope you enjoyed this book review, and I will see you next time.